Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host Brian, and joining me today, hailing from the UK, do you pronounce it Kieran Wallis? Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how you pronounce it.
All right, sweet. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good, thank you.
Actually, it's almost nighttime. You guys are 6 hours ahead, right?
Yep, it's 25 to 10
No.
p.m. over this now.
All right. Uh, Special thanks actually to Ash Wells because he had pointed me to you, and I was actually your 100 subscriber, so I actually decided to give you both honors. First for being number 100 and
You
inviting you
are?
on my podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good. I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
indoors.
thank you.
And I know a lot of drummers in our community like to hear your story too. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. So I just got some questions for you. You ready?
Mm. Shit.
All right. So let's start with the first one. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your drumming history.
All right. Well, I think I started, as far as I remember, when I was 8 years old. So I've been playing for 27 years now. Uh, Started off with a custom percussion, just a basic five-piece kit. And then can't mind exactly how long I had that one for, but I eventually acquired a Tama Swing Star through some inheritance money I got from my granddad when he died. And then I just built up my kit to this enormous piece of artwork, I guess you could say. Eventually had 8 drums and an array of various different cymbals. I think there were 14 altogether. Had a DW4000 double bass pedal and a Gibraltar rack system as well. So massive setup. Kind of took up the majority of my bedroom. It was huge. But yeah, I hung on to that for quite some time until I had to move out, and then unfortunately had no choice but to sell it, and I didn't get half as much, even close as to what I even paid for it in the first place. So then I had to resort back to something much smaller. I was in a sort of small flat, so had to use an electric kit, which was the first time I'd ever done that before. And this was just a basic five-piece uh, Session Pro, and this was like going back to square one because I was so used to playing this enormous setup, and I was just like ride, crash, 2 toms, 4 toms, yeah, a single kick. It was like, what the hell is it? But I just tried to do the best with what I had. And then it was only last 6 years I've been playing the Roland TD 25 kV, and I kept the Session Pro and just sort of attached that onto it just to make it somewhat bigger and have it sort of as a utility kit. And it was my fiance Lizzie that actually bought me that kit for a graduation present for me. When I graduated university in 2016, I think it was. So yeah, I've been playing that for the last 6 years, and I absolutely love that kit. It's fantastic, good fun, and it sounds just as good, if not better, than the acoustic kit I actually have. So absolutely love it. It's fantastic.
Your story is actually pretty powerful too because I kind of forget the term that you used in your about section that talked about what you came down with that had almost killed you, but now it affects your motory skills for your right arm, I believe it is. And
Yeah,
so
I,
in your videos, it looks like you're kind of holding up and then you're kind of jumping back and forth between the snare and probably the crash, ride, or the hi
no,
hat too, I guess.
yeah. It's been tricky. Basically, my whole life, including my drumming, has been entirely based on compromise. Uh, yeah, I mean, to be honest, drums I think are the only instrument I could possibly play, and even that was really quite hard to kind of solidify, to be honest. Yeah, I had meningitis when I was 15 months old, along with a stroke and cerebral palsy. So that's left me with an epileptic condition and hemiplegia. So the motor skills in my right side um, are far less, I could say, defined, I guess, than my left. And I have very little kind of control over them. They're not nearly as flexible or independent as my left, which is why I have to, as you've seen in the videos, keep control of my right hand whenever I'm playing a groove. That's the only way I've been able to do it, and it's taken some time to actually learn to do that and develop my drumming in order to be able to play. But I actually found a way to do it now, and this is just the way I do it now. It's just how it works for me, and to actually have that kind of solidified now is something of a reassurance, to be honest. Because I mean, with certain covers, I do sometimes, based on the complexity of the song, sometimes I have to film like different parts separately. Like I said, based on like maybe the complexity of the song, the transitions may be quite complicated and whatnot. So it's basically just trying to have to map it out in my mind as to what I can do and what I can't do and what I have to compromise with. So it's, as long as I think I can do it, I'll be able to do it. I just have to find a way to do it. That's that's the fun of it. It's just problem solving. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. And I actually saw your recent drum cover. It was the Food Fighters Wheels, and that was the one I saw of you, and that was the one that Ash Wells had showed us in the drumming community, and that's what directed me towards you, and that's why I wanted to reach out too, because a lot of them really wanted to get to know you a little bit more, because our community, and something I've recently learned as I've gone through this last couple of months, is there's a lot of compassion here, and there's been people who've had either some sort of disability issue or maybe some sort of loss, personal, and then maybe emotional toll that they had to kind of claw themselves out of. So you learn that we're pretty much all connected, really. We've all had our struggles, and we're... Do you consider yourself more of a hobbyist drummer, or do you try anything else on the side?
Well, I think it was the beginning of, or mid 2019, I actually started a band with a guy I met called Ryan Thompson. We call it Dream State Illusion. Obviously, COVID kind of slowed that down a little bit, kind of stalled us. He lives about maybe an hour away from me, so kind of wasn't the most feasible kind of situation, I guess you could say, to keep it going during this pandemic anyway. But I kind of developed a skill in writing lyrics as well. So I think when we got together, he's a very sort of versatile musician. He plays guitar, bass, keyboard, you name it, and he's kind of like developing his vocal technique as well. So although having not played for a while, we're still doing kind of our own thing and developing our own skills while apart. But we kind of wrote maybe 10, 12 songs perhaps, and it was really good fun kind of like composing them actually, because he's got like a full sort of almost like a small studio with a Cubase software and all the rest of it. So yeah, I kind of write the lyrics, then kind of put the melody together, and then put my drums down. It's kind of like, it's just the two of us for the time being. And he kind of wants to keep it that way because we had a very kind of specific style and vision as to where we wanted to go. And it's not really developed anywhere further there so far. But I'd like to can, because we've had really good fun with what we've done so far, and it'd be a shame to kind of come this far and then, I don't know, it can drift off somewhere, to be the end of that. So I'm hoping that, we get back on track and we can actually start jamming again and rebooting Dream State Illusion. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was cool.
So
Yeah.
let's hope that you guys get back together soon, though. Where at in the UK are you? Are you close to Ash Wells?
I'm not entirely sure where Ash is based, to be honest. I live in Scotland. It's in Dunfermline. It's the former. Sorry.
That's right. Just pick it over. I guess what town? I guess do you live in? Obviously, you said Scotland.
It used to be the capital city of Scotland until Edinburgh took over. But this is like the former capital of Scotland, Dunfermline. So I've been living here for the last 12 years or so.
Okay.
It's become my home now, but it's not necessarily where I grew up. I grew up in way up in the North Highlands, in the tiniest little village called Strathpepper. You wouldn't be able to find it on the map. It was minuscule. I mean, it's hard enough to find Scotland on the map. It's tiny. But yeah, I mean, being that far up north, there was certainly no disturbance to neighbours with my massive acoustic Tama swing star. So that was a good opportunity to have it up there. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic thing about having an electric kit. You can just play it whenever you want. I mean, I've played it kind of well into the late evening without any disruption from anyone, to be honest. So that's one massive pro to an electric kit, which you also don't have with an acoustic unless you got a soundproof room, which I don't.
Yeah, that's always been the biggest pro that I've think the electric kits always do, but also the tuning was the other big thing too. Being able to like switch your sound so you can get creative however you want it to sound.
That's the other thing actually, because one thing you have as well with electric kits, which you do not have with acoustic, is you can go beyond the realms of acoustic drumming. I've done covers of kind of movie soundtracks. I did Marlon Manson's composition for Resident Evil. Did what was it? Paul Oakenfold's composition for Swordfish. What was the other ones I did? I'm sure I did a couple of others as well. But just those two alone, I mean, they're electro compositions to which you'd have absolutely no ability to even remotely cover with an acoustic kit. And that's the beauty of an electric kit, is they're so versatile in their sound. You can do whatever you want with them. So I was just being as creative with those covers as I wanted and just doing whatever. It was fantastic. Just having really good fun, just playing around with all these different sounds. You just don't have the opportunities you have with an acoustic kit. So I'm also loving this Roland TD25 KB. It's brilliant. It's fun.
Is your kit nearby, or is it in a different room right now?
It's in the back room in my bedroom. I can't really access it just now. But I could try and... Shall I try and bring it through?
Uh, you could try. I don't know if it's gonna mess up the connection or anything.
I think so. Hang on. Let's see what I can do here.
Let's see what we do.
It's dark in here. Oh, joke. Hang on.
There should be. Oh, that's a badass Slipknot poster too.
Two of them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got two of them actually.
Yeah. So that's the session. So I've got both my modules on the left side here. That's my Session Pro and the rolling together. And I don't know how to figure out how to connect it all, but I've got two other pads here as well. So yeah, I just decided, because I wasn't using it. It was just like I was just sitting around doing nothing. So I was like, all right, maybe just a beginner's kit, but I can still use it. Why don't I just attach it to the rolling kit and and use that one as well?
Yeah.
And by doing so, I have something of a bigger setup now. And those four pads, of the Session Pro, I've kind of tuned to simulate as best I can, well, at least two of them anyway, to sound like Danny Carey's Mandela pads, because I fucking love that guy. He's one of my biggest influences of all time. And incidentally, I'm going to see Tool live on Wednesday in Birmingham.
Oh, really?
Cannot wait.
That sounds awesome too.
Well,
I guess since you're already there, what other drummers would you have considered like influences? Because the majority I've been hearing has always been like Neil Peart and Mike Potroy and guys like that.
Mike Portnoy is most definitely one of them. I think Hell's Kitchen was perhaps the first song I heard of Dream Theater, and then after that, I went and bought one of the first. I think the first album I bought there was Scenes from a Memory, and as soon as I heard Mike's drums on Overture 1928, I was like, my God, this guy's insane. He's just got such a phenomenal skill. I'm not saying I don't appreciate Dream Theater as much as, Mike Mangini is equally as talented, and I think he's filled Mike Portnoy's shoes equally as well. But I just seem to prefer Dream Theater's older material than their more present stuff. To be honest, I don't know what it was. It just didn't seem to kind of really catch on to it after Mike left the band. It wasn't the same, So, but he did some fantastic songs while he was still there. And other influences, let me see. You got Danny Carey, Mike Portnoy, Thomas Hack from Sugar. Most definitely, yeah. And Gavin Harrison also from Porcupine Tree. He's got such a clean cut sound. He's so crisp. It's unbelievable. It's just so tight in his drumming. It's unreal. Like just seeing videos of him playing live on YouTube. It's something else. But each one of these drummers are kind of equally as influential to me. So I've got quite an array of different sort of genres going on there. But what's interesting is I've never had any comprehension of musical theory whatsoever. I cannot read music to save my life, but I love progressive metal beyond anything else. And a bit of a kind of contradiction there because that requires especially kind of tool and dream theater for sure. I mean, read kind of like, I mean, I think I actually saw a video of Mike Portnoy reading out his drum part of the sort of time signature changes within the Dance of Eternity on YouTube, and it was absolutely insane. It fried my brain. I couldn't think properly after it gave me a headache. And it's funny because like I cannot comprehend odd time signatures at all. Whenever I play along to progressive music, I simply have to try and figure out just within my head, just the groove as best I can and just simulate as best I can what's going on there. But it's not perfect, and I explain that in my outros because I know instinctively that I cannot play these songs perfectly, to the point because I have no comprehension of time signatures beyond your basic 4/4, to be honest. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. I've tried using a metronome before, but it always gets a little tricky after, I guess 5/4, maybe 6/4, but beyond that, it's just.
Yeah, I know it's kind of the same way with me. Even after playing in strings, after all this time, I had to admit I've always had trouble like doing 6/8s, 3/4s, and kind of different time changers and stuff like that. Especially in metal when it starts changing completely at random intervals, and then it's just something you've probably never even heard of. It's probably like 13/7 or something like that. So it's ridiculous too. So at that point, you're just trying to hear how they're doing it, just hoping you're still playing when you're doing these drum covers and everything. So,
like, yeah.
Since you live in Scotland, not to get off topic, but are you close to Shetland by any chance? The reason I ask is because me and my mom, we watched a series that was based on the islands in and around Shetland.
Shetland, I believe, is they're more kind of central Scotland here. Shetland's way, way beyond even where I was, way north of Scotland. Was the northern islands, that's for sure. Way, way right above. So, geographically speaking, I don't think I'm anywhere near Shetland, to be honest. Off the top of my head, trying to figure it out. No, miles away, absolutely miles away.
No, I just thought I asked. I didn't know if you were anywhere close to them, and just kind of say what they were like, because we've seen a good amount, and it's just such wide open land and everything. So
I can imagine. I've never been there before, but but these, the Shetland Isles and Orkney and whatnot, very how would you put it exactly? Very little shelter on these islands. Very exposed to the elements, that's for sure. Yeah, you don't get much in the way of. I don't know. I ordinarily think of like Vikings living on these islands beyond anything else because they were rock solid,
Go the Vikings. Hey, you're probably right. Back in the day, they probably were some Vikings chilling there. So
yeah, I think my cousins they lived up in Thursdale, which is like the very tip of Scotland, as far as you can go before you actually, before you get off to the islands. And I've not been up there for a very long time, but it's not the most hospitable place. There's very little to do up there. And it almost feels like you're on a set in Lord of the Rings. You're just in the middle of nowhere thing. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice enough place to relax and chill out and get together with your thoughts, but there's literally nothing to do up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's why they wanted to bring a little film to it too, kind of make it stand out a little bit more, so it can build up the tourist industry or something like that. So,
So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
all right, uh, get back into drumming. What do you like most about drumming, outside of it being like a big help to you given your condition?
I find it, how did I put it earlier? It's, I find it psychologically liberating, to be honest, in conjunction with playing along to my music. Just unbelievable, just release, of energy, both physical and psychological energy. You just let it out. It's just the sheer power of being able to do that, which I don't think you can. Maybe, well, certainly not to the same extent as with any other instrument. Drums are different. You can just let loose with drums and just let it out. That's what I love about drums beyond anything else. Just phenomenal, great fun, and good workout beyond anything else as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's one of the things I've always said. That gives you a nice sweat too, when even when you start playing the faster kind of songs, more metally and the stuff like that. So there's that, and it also does give you a nice challenge too, because since you're working all parts of your body,
Yeah.
it causes you to exert a lot of muscle mass and stuff like that, and even put on a good sweat. So
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
can't emphasize as well how beneficial to me personally my DW4000 double bass pedal has been. That's one thing I had to hold on to before I sold my acoustic kit, because I didn't actually use it that much while I was using my acoustic kit. I kind of developed my techniques further afterwards, but I just can't emphasize how beneficial it actually is. I use it to compensate for complex fills, and I mean, effectively use it as two additional limbs, so to speak. To be honest, it's really helpful to kind of create more, I don't know, texture, I guess, in a groove. And I mean, I use it in a track when there's not necessarily kind of any double bass groove. I mean, just it's almost like inadvertent. I just like do it anyways, because it's just for a start, like I said, it's so very helpful and beneficial to me, and it just sounds great as well. It took me a while to get the bass drum sounding the way I wanted it to. There was quite a bit of distortion on it for a while, but I managed to finally get it to the sound that I liked, and with the double bass, it sounds fantastic to me anyway, and I hope to everyone else who watches my videos too. Yeah, but I'm quite pleased with it, I must say.
Yeah. I don't know if I asked you. Did I ask you what brand that your drumsticks are? Are they Vic Firth?
I think I've had these ones for a very long time. I think these, as far as I remember, are Vic Firth 5B American Hickory. These ones right here. I use these predominantly more than my other ones, which are Joey Jordison signature A-heads, which I use on occasion. But I do love these ones too, actually. God bless you, Joey. Miss you, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, buddy. Yeah, we miss him too. But Joey Jordison, was he also another one of your influencers too?
It certainly was, yeah. Actually, Slipknot was one of the first bands that kind of really got me into metal, to be honest. Like proper heavy metal. I can't kind of chronologically kind of put in order how it actually happened, so to speak. My brother's friend let me hear Perfect Circle first, and I think the first song of theirs I heard was The Noose. And Josh Freeth, there's another one, his drum track on The Noose was really spectacular. His particular techniques were really something I hadn't heard before, and then that got me listening to some more Perfect Circle, and then after that was Tool, which is really fucking good. I cannot emphasize how that there are no words to describe Tool. They are just literally one of a kind. To my mind, there is no band on this earth that sounds like Tool. They are just one of a kind, and that's why I love them so much. It's just completely unique and absolutely. Have you ever seen them live before?
You know what? I wish I did because they were here in March, and I felt bad because me and my dad weren't looking at it, but I guess I live in Pittsburgh, so where they do most of the bigger concerts and stuff like that, it's at what's called PPG Paints Arena. I guess
Right.
they were charging a good boatload for like each ticket, so
Yeah,
we didn't go. But I kind of wish we had because
I've seen them twice before.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm alright. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just having to. What what were we on topic on? Sorry.
I don't know. We were just you were talking about Tool. You had seen him twice.
Seen them twice. That's right. First time was in a smaller. It was a smaller.
Venue.
Wasn't it wasn't an arena as such. It was the O2 Academy in Glasgow, and that one was awesome. But the one at the SECC in Glasgow a few years later was absolutely spectacular. Very good. And then that was absolutely phenomenal. There was like a laser light show, and it was just so hypnotic. It was just amazing. And I just cannot wait to see them again on Wednesday. It's just going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And my fiance Lizzie hasn't really kind of got into them very much at all, to be honest. So it's going to be a new experience for her, for her anyway, which is going to be great.
All right. I know Maynard James Keener. He tends to put on a nice show too because he like dresses up in all these crazy outfits or something. You gotta laugh too, especially when I always laugh when he did like the Southern Pastor at one of the shows. I forget which one it was, but
Yeah.
I know he tends to like do like comedic work like outside of Tool and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
he keeps himself busy for being actually pretty reclusive too. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit odd, but hey. You need a moment? Or are you okay?
Yeah, I'm alright. Yeah. Right enough. Yeah. Oh, jeez, sorry, man. Having a seizure.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
No, that's all right. I'll edit it out. You'll be okay. Let's jump to your YouTube channel.
No, it's all right. I'm fine, man. Keep going. It's all right. Honestly.
All right.
Okay.
So let's jump to your YouTube channel. When did you start it?
I started this probably at the beginning of lockdown, and then gradually started taking it more seriously because I didn't necessarily have the prospect of having loads of followers. I was just wanting to have fun and maybe just kill time, to be honest. And it's just isolation kind of period, just keep myself occupied. And then I kind of really got into video editing, and it's just been so much fun for me. It's been great. And just for the record, what happened just now is due to my disability. So that's all it was. Just for the record, it happens all the time. But no worries, I'm absolutely fine.
I guess is there something that you want to achieve with your YouTube channel? You want to kind of show people who have disabilities you can still persevere and do things that you love?
I was thinking about that. I mean, like I said, my initial kind of prospect of, gathering millions of followers wasn't really my intention in the first place. But it's predominantly kind of what I do with my life now. Aside from writing psychological thrillers as well, it's just done. I don't know. I've not done that for quite some time. So my channel is predominantly kind of what I focus on beyond anything else just now. So I'll continue doing that. And like I said before, in so many of my videos, I appreciate and love all of you guys for the support and everything that you guys give to me. And I just I've started throwing out requests for folk as well. And also that's given me another opportunity to play along to music I'm not necessarily kind of familiar with. The cover of, what was it called? It was an Oasis song the other day. It was called Supernova. Champagne Supernova, that's the one. That was really strange. I've never really got into that band, but it's not. I don't feel it necessarily kind of all about me anymore. I love what I do, but at the same time, I'd like to give what I want to my followers as well. I think that's really important, considering how much support and love I've got from them. So that's basically the continuity of my channel so far, and we'll just see how it kind of progresses from there. Just continue with what I'm currently doing just now, I guess, and take from there, I think.
Actually, yeah, you kind of answered my other question too. I was going to say, like, what would be your goals for 2022 and beyond? So just keep going and just doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's definitely one of them. I also finished, like I said, about psychological thriller novels, and I just finished one called Tainted Hemispheres, but I'm not necessarily kind of entirely happy with it. I think I deviated slightly off course with regards to the main kind of plot of the story, and basically it's maybe 360 odd pages long. It's really long story to be honest. So I'm just gonna go through it again and just do all my edits and whatnot, because I just think I could have been better. So that's going to be another project for this year, I reckon. It's going to be sound. That's something I'll certainly keep me occupied. That goes without saying.
Yeah, it's cool. You're a writer. You're a writer too, and I've tried taking up writing too. I've not been very good at it. I've only done maybe a couple of short stories, which are still in the final editing process. So I'm just waiting to get those edited and hopefully published, and just take it from there and see where it goes. But yours are definitely interesting. So psychological thrillers, I guess. Are they like crime dramas? I don't want to spoil too much, but are they more like the crime dramas?
No. This is really difficult to explain because I have a very unusual imagination. The same goes with my stories. I love writing metaphorically and trying to express. Also, I mean, another, like I said, I have epilepsy as well, and I have what are called petit mals, which is like an electric shock in my brain. So, in a way, I feel like all this is kind of connected in some way. I can have a thought, and then instantaneously it just goes. But at the same time, when it comes to like my stories, trying to explain exactly what they're about, it just wouldn't make sense to anyone until I've actually written it down, so to speak. It's pretty complicated because I have a very kind of specific way of writing things. But that's not to say it won't make sense. It just it's just I have to write it in a fashion that does make sense to myself. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'm pleased with the story actually. It just needs a bit of editing, that's all. But yeah, I was working on it for the best part of maybe 2 years or something at least. It was really good fun actually.
That'll be sweet.
In design to put it together, which I absolutely love using after graduating from uni, which was what was my it was what was my oh it was what's my I can't like I can't even remember what my shoot this one maybe that Bachelor of Arts in Visual Communication and Digital Publishing. There you go.
Oh, sweet, man. That's awesome.
Got that done prior to our conversation. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's fine. And actually, it was a good thing it was nearby as well. So,
yeah.
Actually, I wish you best of luck. You should let us know in the drumming community when you plan on publishing it, and then I think we'll definitely listen to it. I actually like to see how your writing style is, and I actually hope to start doing a fantasy novel series because, you keep it all up in here, but then you don't translate it onto paper. So then, is it like, what good is it then? So, if it's just part of your imagination. So you bring it out and you show what your imaginative creative ability is. So
my basically, the first novel I wrote was called Broken Wings, and that the main character, Sienna, had dissociative identity disorder, so she had 5 different alters. So that's already a complete mind fuck, as you put it. So it's like it was really quite difficult to write actually, and you're having like several kind of like different conversations going between like one person. If you understand what I mean, there's like 7 different alters, which is like oh my god, it's so difficult to explain, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like
I know what you mean. I did take a psychology class in college, so I at least know multiple personality disorder. Yeah, you're jumping back and forth between one part of her, the other part of her, and then I guess I don't know if you had like all 5 at once, but maybe it's just like one personality, then talking with the other and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I do know what you're talking about. So,
but it's tricky to write actually because like each character has like lines or like something to say, and then they're all coming from Sienna's conscious. So it's a bit strange. It was difficult to kind of navigate, but it was a challenge nonetheless, and I really kind of enjoyed putting it together.
Yeah.
Then I've got a sequel to that called Omerta. So I've been that for maybe, Jesus, I can't remember how long I've been writing for, but I don't even know where my talent for writing actually came from.
One day it just happened, and I want to try taking up writing. That's kind of how it was with me, actually, because I always laugh because mine started with Game of Thrones, and it was the Battle of the Blackwater, Season 2, Episode 9. I always attributed that to my great awakening, so to speak. So,
love that episode. It's fantastic. Yeah,
absolutely. I guess let's jump to COVID. I guess how bad did it impact you and your community?
Well, I mean, I don't have much really of a social network outside. I've got a couple of really good friends, one of whom I've only just started to see again recently due to the pandemic, and the other of course is Ryan, my bandmate, who lives an hour away from here. So they're the only 2 primary contacts I have outside of here, apart from my 2 daughters, who I see kind of on a weekly basis, like alternating days throughout the week. But it's not been. It didn't impact me as bad as it thought it would because I have a specific kind of routine each day, and it didn't show me too hard. It's hard to explain to us, but because I don't associate really at all with anyone else around here, I can't really comment on. I mean, everyone else has their own ways and means of kind of doing things. I guess from my more recent observation, folks seem to be wearing face coverings a whole lot less than they used to be. Some of them are just not even wearing them properly, just like that, or even just like sometimes I think like they've just got so used to it they just don't even know it's on them anymore or something like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
if you're not going to wear it properly, then why are you wearing it at all?
I don't know. I guess yours was fortunate because since you only interact with only a couple individuals, you're not always in a big group and everybody. So you were fortunate, I guess we could say. So I guess.
Yeah, my Mark, he lives in Albuquerque in Mexico, and he has given me some sort of like updates on how things are going in the US now and again, but I don't get to speak to him very often. He's gonna come home for a few days in July. He's officially made an American citizen just a few days ago. And his wife's calling him an American. No, he's not. He's a Scotsman. He always will be.
He's a pure Scotsman. That's always said.
Mark, you are Scotland. You're not American. He can't even pull off a genuine American accent.
No.
Like his wife can.
You know, I always kind of laughed at some of the dialect, like some of the Scottish would do. Like they would always say, "Keep your hands off my mom," or stuff like that. And they say like me instead of like my mom or something like that. So I don't know if is this something that happens when you get northern most of Scotland, or is this something that they're just making up or something like that?
I don't know. Everyone's got different sort of slang kind of words and phrases, but the most like iconic accent, Scottish accent, is predominantly from Glasgow. He goes, "All right, man. How's you doing, man? You all right? How's it going, man? You all right?" There's something along the lines of that. I'm not born Glaswegian, so I can't pull off a genuine Glaswegian accent, but that's kind of just pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah.
You hear it from a genuine Glaswegian, it's fucking hilarious. It really is.
I can't believe it. I think you might think we're crazy if you come over here to Pittsburgh. You're hearing Gins guys or something like that, or Whoosher or Pop and stuff like that. So you probably think we're all crazy.
Yeah.
We got the Yinzer mob. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Bruce. All right. Let's see. I know "wee" was like another one. They would say like, "We're just a wee lad" or something like that. I know that was like another thing. I know.
There's a fantastic comedy series based in Glasgow called Still Game. It's absolutely fantastic, and I don't know if you may need to, if you were to watch it, you'd probably may need to use the subtitles because it's very kind of very deeply rooted Scottish accent. Call it that. So
well, that's what me and my mom did with the Shetland. That we had to turn on the subtitles just so we know, because it's still basically English, but it's so thick and they speak so low too. So
I mean, I was born in Aberdeen, which is on the east coast, so further north, east coast of Scotland, I think. Anyway, honestly, my accent isn't nearly as predominant. I mean, I don't think you could even recognise it as a Scottish accent, to be honest. So, my mum's the same actually, and that goes with my brothers as well. But my dad was born in Halifax, I think, in England, but he died in 2014.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't think any of us really has, apart from maybe Dad, anybody has a Scottish accent. To be honest, I think it's predominantly kind of based on where we were born. To be honest, I think if we were born any further south, perhaps we would have been somewhat more recognizable, I guess you could say. But yeah,
It is what it is. And sorry for your loss too. I guess obviously it happened back in 2014, but still, sorry for your loss, buddy. So.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, I really owe a great deal of gratitude to Tony. He's the one who got me started on drums in the first place, and he was a fantastic musician himself. He played guitar and the saxophone, and he was in a band called the Dizzy Heights, and he did backing vocals for that. It was just fantastic. It was really good fun. And he just had a psychological downfall, and he's got slightly out of hand, and he was gone.
Right.
But that's the way it goes. He's all right. I think he's in a better place than he was, that's for sure.
He's there in spirit. We'll leave it at that. He'll always be there for you. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So, all right, we reached this part of the interview where now I give my interviewees a little bit of freedom to ask me anything, or if there's anything that you would like to get off your chest. So, fire away.
Ah, right. How long have you been playing drums for?
I never really kept track of like the years, but I would say it's always been like a little over a decade. So, I'd say definitely over a decade, and I said like how Rock Band was the game that got me into doing drums. First off, with just hitting like all the pads, the yellow or red, yellow, blue, green, and then the orange foot pedal pad. That was all it was.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of built up from there.
So, as now, like, do you prefer the acoustic or the electric? Or is that kind of based on the situation you're in? I don't know. I mean, do you play live at all?
I have not, but I did play on acoustic set because I was trying out for a cover band a couple months back, and they had a regular acoustic set, and actually it didn't take too long to get accustomed to it. I just wasn't getting used to how the cymbals kept moving around because I guess they didn't have all the little screws holding it in place.
Yeah.
So there was that, but actually I jumped in and adapted, no problem. So I think it's just maybe just a quick adaptation, so to speak, and then you just get used to it afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm not saying I couldn't play an acoustic kit again. I'm sure I could, but it's just the aesthetics of the kit that I have, which just makes it so compatible for me to use. Just everything in such close proximity, and it makes things so much easier for me to move around. I had maybe 4 or 5 kind of splash cymbals on my acoustic kit, which I was so very fond of. But that's one thing. The only thing else that I miss is the splash cymbals. I have one to simulate a splash cymbal, but I mean, it is what it is. I make do what I have. It's
something. It's something.
Yeah, it's what I've always done in my life. Just compromise. That's the word of this carpe diem.
Yep.
It's easy to do.
Carpe diem.
Carpe diem.
And actually, I meant to actually say this earlier, but we kept getting distracted by the questions. But you are loaded with tats, good sir. So.
Oh yeah, I certainly am.
Those all local, or is that a?
Yeah, my tattooist Mark Strong is literally just around the corner from me, about 20 seconds away. Yeah, and
sure,
yeah, it's not far at all. To be honest, he's finished a massive Sin City composition on my back, which is an absolute monster. I could show you if you like.
I honestly have to. Well, we're going to be able to show it. So let's see.
side.
I can say part of it. I can say part of it, unless you just need to adjust.
Yeah.
It's all part of it. I don't know where else you need to do it, or
Alright. Well, I've got both Tool and Perfect Circle logo tattooed on my ribs. Those were fucking painful as hell. Like, oh dear God, this was absolutely insane.
Yep.
And these ones, the forearms were not too bad. These are what are called trash polka designs. I did a video of that for my channel actually called Getting Inked, explaining every one of my tattoos.
Mm.
It was Dream State of the Mind. It's kind of based on my unusual imagination. This one's called Do Not Feel Hindered, which is another trash polka design. I'm not sure well you can see it. Then was the hourglass right here. The numbers representing kind of like the day and the time of my illness, which is pretty cool actually. And then my daughter
I never quite understood back tattoos, to be honest.
back tattoo. That's pretty much where you go when you run out of everywhere else.
Yeah. You just cover all the chest and the ribs and everything. The whole arms are covered.
Yeah.
Then you stop doing the neck.
Got Corey Taylor tattooed on my leg. Oh, so I can show you. That's like the biggest one I've got so far. It's absolutely enormous. Oh, there's just massive kind of solid black areas, and because you've seen cities right before, it's predominantly just black and red with a little bit of colour just thrown in now and again, but yellow bastards and whatnot. But yeah, the black and red has been very much an influential sort of colour scheme for me ever since I saw that film. And incidentally, I've just done a drum cover called. It was a band that I came across on YouTube last night. What are they called again? That's pretty unusual. I can't remember what it was. No, but very very unusual. Black and red sort of grunge texture. It was fantastic. Oh Jesus, that's going to do my head in there. Where's my phone gone? I just uploaded it.
Yeah. If it's one of the grunge acts, I would have probably said Alice in Chains. Probably at first would be a good one.
Alice in Chains. No, I've not really heard Alice in Chains before. That's probably absolutely outrageous, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I'm sure I've heard them before. I've just never. It's like they've been around for quite some time, haven't they? Yeah. It's not necessarily a band I've kind of really got into. That's all it was. Not to say that they're not a good band. I would never say that on public record anyway.
Did you have any other questions or anything else you wanted to ask?
I wish I could remember the name of this. Like, it'll be. I mean, you'll see it yourself when you go onto my channel again. It's my most recent upload. Anything else? I think that's everything for now, man. It's been lovely to speak to you, and thanks for having me on your channel. I really appreciate talking to you.
Hold on. Don't jump the gun just yet. We do have one more question for you.
All right.
All right. So, given what COVID has done in the world, obviously it seems like it hasn't really impacted you a whole lot, but is there any message of hope that you would like to share with everybody else out there who's perhaps struggling or perhaps suffering from a similar disability like yours?
What I've learned from this, I had a look at this question of yours, and what I would simply say is, for those who are still have got constraints around them, then use that sort of, I don't know, those constraints to do something positive and creative. Do not let it hinder you from doing things. Do something with those constraints. Don't let it just stop you in your path. You can still. That's what I do. Although like I said, I don't have much of a social life beyond these walls, unless I'm seeing my couple of friends. But nonetheless, just do something creative, regardless of what it is. Just keep your mind occupied. That's what I've been doing. I've just been so fixated on this drum covers of mine on my YouTube channel. There's always something to keep your mind occupied, and without having your mind occupied, to me, that's like the worst thing ever, because then you're just focused on the negative and you can't see the positive or the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So getting focused on something creative and positive that you can look forward to and execute, that's the way to get through something like this, as far as I'm concerned. That's what I would say to anyone else for that question, Brian.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
If that's any help to anyone else.
No, you did a very good job. Yeah, a lot of people always keep saying, like, keep pushing yourself forward and don't let even something as severe as yours was and debilitating. So it was good to see that you're still pushing through. But then people see you as an example and they say, like, I could do what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm exempt from wearing face coverings, so that wasn't necessarily an issue to me. I think I would find it a hell of a lot more difficult if I had. I did actually catch COVID twice, the first one being completely inconsequential. It could have very well just been a false positive, because I literally had no symptoms at all. And then the second time, I had muscular aches and pains, and I was rather physically drained, but that was pretty much the extent of it for maybe a couple of days. But I've always had a pretty kind of strong immune system. Whenever on a very rare occasion I get ill, it's over very, very quickly. It's not an occasional circumstance for me to get ill. So I didn't catch COVID in a severe way at all, to be honest, compared to some others, fortunately. But nonetheless, I still did, and so did my two daughters as well, Phoebe and Naomi. They've all been through it, but they're both awesome, resilient little people. They're fantastic, and they just kind of power through as well. That's Phoebe now started her first year in high school, and my Naomi, who's also known as Tiny from me anyway, because she's so very small, she's in P5 now, so she's got another 2 years of primary school to go, but their intellect is of like a teen already. They're smart as hell, they really are. So very proud of them. And my fiance Lizzie has had a very positive kind of impact on them as well. As a second mother for me. I still live with my my ex-wife, but there's nothing going on between me and her anymore. But my fiance Lizzie's like a second mother to them, and she's been incredibly influential to them and to me as well. And it's obviously thanks to her that I started the YouTube channel in the first place, because without her I wouldn't even have my TD25 KV in the first place. So that was a massively extravagant graduation gift, I must say. But there's no words to explain how the level of gratitude I have to her for that. That was unbelievably cool. So
Yeah, and God bless you, and God bless your family too. So it's good to see
yeah,
you. Looks like
yeah,
you're in good spirits.
yeah. Thanks, Brian. You're
Yeah.
gonna like.
All right, and we've reached the end of our interview. And boy, we actually talked for a good hour there too, buddy. So,
Yeah. Oh,
uh, I guess before we wrap up, any shout outs or any other messages you want to get off before we close?
just for all of my subscribers, you know who you are. Thanks so very much for all your love and support and your comments on my videos. I really appreciate that, and I cannot emphasize enough how much I love you all for the support that you give me and the understanding you have of my condition. It just means so much to me, and that goes with the same with you, Brian, as well. So yeah, I'll be posting some more. I'm actually going down to see Tool on Wednesday, but I'll no doubt be doing another cover tomorrow. So I'll just keep. I counted actually this morning. I've done 45 videos in the last month. 46 now actually. Keep coming, I don't get tired. Just keep coming, and we'll find something to play. It's good fun.
All right, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And search out Ash Wells, and he'll invite you into our drumming community. We do stuff on WhatsApp and have a good presence on Facebook. You're welcome to do a collaboration with any one of us. And there's a two drums collaboration group that he formed. So if you want to just check that out on Facebook or anywhere else, and just come on and hey, just come and hang out. That's all. We're pretty open.
Great stuff, man. Yeah, we'll do. That seems great.
All right. And my guest today from the UK was Kieran Wallis. And Kieran, it's been a blast, man. And thank you so much for sharing your story. You've been a huge inspiration for us. So,
Yes, thanks, man.
all right.
Okay,
No worries. Stay safe. Stay tuned, brother.
yeah, take care, man.
All right.